I think I'm all matching. I just know it is now. But amazing. Hey, um, welcome back to my channel. So, in last week's video, or I don't know when I'm gonna post this one, but in the last video, I was talking about a video that I was going to make and that I was going to post. And I don't know if I'm gonna post it before or after this one, but I think I'm gonna post this one first because it's like a March wrap up and it's already like April 5th when I'm filming this, I think. Yeah. So I don't want to take too long to post the wrap up. So yeah, I have my computer here and I'm gonna talk about the 12 books I read this month. Okay, so the first book is The Starless Sea. I actually I was reading this book in February, but I didn't finish it, so it came to March. But I wasn't even like halfway through, so I count it as a March book because it is. And The Starless Sea, I gave it 5 stars, if I'm not wrong. And this is one of those books, like Eddie Morgenstern writes books that are not like I think you're not supposed to know anything about them before going into them. Like with The Night Circus, you should go in blindly. That's what I did with The Starless Sea too. Like every time someone told me like, yeah, The Starless Sea, I was like, no, 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 shut up. I don't want to know anything. I will go in blindly. And that's what I did, and I loved it. I still like The Night Circus more, but I did enjoy The Starless Sea. And I will not tell you anything about it, just that is magical realism. It's so like fantasy, it's so magical, the whole book. And it's like about stories inside of stories inside of stories, like a loop, and I did enjoy it a lot. And it's 5 stars. Like, what else do I have to say? And I have a quote that I put in my review that says, "Not all stories speak to all listeners, but all listeners can find a story that does somewhere, sometime, in one form or another." And yeah, and my review is literally like the best vibes. That's that's Erin Morgenstern. It doesn't have the best rating on Goodreads, like The Night Circus has a better rating, but I think it deserves more than 3.85 stars. Like, bitch, please. But also, people hate normal people, and I love it, so people suck. Then I read an Animal Farm because so I wanted to give my uncle a gift. It's a long story, whatever. I wanted to give him a book, and he really likes 1984. I haven't read it, but I decided to give him Animal Farm. And I thought like, okay, if I'm gonna give this book to him, I have to read it first. And I read it, and then I bought a copy and I gave it to him, and I loved it. I gave it like 4 stars, but I think it deserves more. Now that I think about it, like it's one of my favorite books. Like I love it. So okay, how do I tell? It's a fable, obviously, Animal Farm, and it's like that George Orwell writes like political books. I don't know how to call it. Yeah, political fiction. Is that a genre? I don't know. I'm making it up as I go. Okay. And Animal Farm basically tells the story about how a guy, like a human named, let me see, it says only politics, but okay. Like this human called Mr. Jones, whatever, has a farm, and he's an awful owner. Like sometimes he doesn't milk the cows, he treats the animals so badly, and he's so lazy and drunk. And so once there's there there's a lot of things that happen, but basically the animals decide that they're going to rebel against like the owner, and from this rebellion it surges like a corrupt government technically. Yeah, I don't know how to explain it, but I just know that I sometimes it was like a little on the nose. Like I was like, yeah, I know what you're trying to say. I know it's a metaphor. You can keep going. Like I felt like he explained it a lot, but it was funny. Like I was laughing a lot, and I did enjoy it a lot. And I just want to say that Boxer deserved better, and that's all I have to say. And I hate horses, just so you know. Okay, so after that, I read, finally, I was reading more of my physical books. So I read this one. I had it for, I think it has the date, and that's July. I had it since July 2021, and I hadn't read it, but I read it now. And this is about, okay, this is historical fiction, and it's about two, like, a couple of twins, and they're black, but they are white passing, and one of them, like, this is based in that, I think, in the classic called Passing. I haven't read it, but I want to read it. And so one of the twins decides to pass as white, while the other stays being black. Yeah, like the sister goes away, and their names are Stella and I don't remember the other. The main character, I don't remember her name. Stella is the one that passes as white, I think, and the other one, it's Desiree. I don't know if I'm saying it right. That's how you say it in Spanish, Desiree. And I even annotated, like, you cannot see the tabs because I put them inside because I'm crazy, but I put tabs, like, yeah, you can see them there. And I really love that. I gave it 5 stars, and I'm glad I have a physical copy because I bought it without knowing anything. And like I looked it up on Goodreads, and I saw that it had 4.19, and I said, like, it has good ratings, I'm gonna buy it. But here I am, 5 star, and so many good quotes. I didn't cry like some people said I would cry, but I'm thinking now that maybe I don't have a heart because recently I'm not crying with any books, so maybe I'm broken. I don't know. That's the verdict. Next, I read a classic because I was in a classics mood, and you'll see that I was in a classics mood. Like I read Animal Farm, and I went back like I want to read more classics. Thank you, George Orwell. You little bitch. I'm sorry, George Orwell. You're not a little. Well, I don't know if you're a little bitch. And so this one I bought it January this year. Oh my god, it's the recent buy. Like, and oh my god, I'm so happy with this that I have this physical copy. So I read my first Jane Austen. I never read Jane Austen before. I read Sense and Sensibility, and this is the Penguin Classic. It even has the sticker. I didn't take it up yet because I'm afraid I'm gonna damage the book. I annotated it, as you can see, but I didn't write on the actual book because I'm scared. Like I even put the date I bought it, and I used a post-it. I'm that crazy. It's, oh my god. I didn't know these copies were so beautiful. Wait, I'm gonna show it to you. Like, if you hear any noise, that's my sister. And yeah. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So Sense and Sensibility tells the story about, well, it's basically two sisters navigating society, I think. I think that's how you can explain it best. That's how I'm gonna explain it. And I didn't tell you. Well, when I went to the bookstore, I saw it and I said, I need to get this. And so it has like a bookmark. This is the bookmark. And I went to the page that it says, and it has my middle name, like one of the main characters is called my middle name, and I opened that and it was right in my middle name. I even put a tab there, and so I said it was Destiny, and I needed to get it, and I got it, and I read it, and I really liked it. Jane Austen, it's so hilarious. Like I don't think she plans it, But she's so freaking funny. I even made a post on Instagram about it because I am that crazy. So yeah. And I don't post a lot on Instagram even though I want to, but this book made me do it. Okay, so this one amazing. I gave it 4 point something stars. It wasn't a 5 star. I'm sorry, but I cannot wait to read Pride and Prejudice and Emma. I want to read Emma, but I want a copy like this of Emma because I want to keep Emma forever. If you don't know, Clueless is one of my favorite movies in the world, and that it's based on Emma. Also, if you hear a noise, that's like the neighbors. They're always making noise, and now I notice it. Like I'm so used to it, but I know that you may hear it in the video. So yeah. Next, I read another classic because oh my god, I'm crazy. But it was short. As you can see, also annotated it. Well, kinda. I put like 3 tabs. I didn't even write in it. It was so fast. I didn't have time to do anything. I read it in a day, in a few hours. So this is the strange case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I heard, like, sadly, I knew about the spoiler. I will not tell you anything about this book. Like, this is so short and it's a classic. But basically, I read it. I read the spoiler, like the main spoiler, I guess, and I was so sad because it seems like a fine way to find out. When I read the book, I was like, oh my god, this would have been so fun. But I knew it already because it's a classic and people talk about them. So I gave it 4.2. Some people say it's boring, but I read from the same author first. I read one of his other books, like Treasure Island. Yeah, I read it. I have it, physical copy, and it's hardback. This one's so floppy. And I love how he writes, actually. Like, I enjoyed it. I don't know. And this was fun. And it was so short, I didn't even have time to be mad at it. So, yeah, 4.2. So, I'm gonna talk about these next books. I will say my rating, but I will not tell you much about them because I want to talk about it in a special video. But you will hear, like, my rating. So, okay. I read My Dark Vanessa, that became one of my favorite books. It's a story about grooming, and it's an amazing book, like an amazing story. It's freaking sad. Trigger warnings, like, oh my god, but it's amazing. After that, I read The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath, a classic again. I'm trying to pull the Rory Gilmore, can you tell? And I really loved The Bell Jar. I gave it 4 stars. It's about depression, like Sylvia Plath killed herself later on. And after reading The Bell Jar, so where the character that's inspired, well, Sylvia Plath was in a mental hospital, and there's a real person called Susanna Kaysen that later on went to the same hospital, and she wrote a book, a non-fiction book about her mental illness. She had BPD, if I'm not wrong, like borderline personality disorder, and she wrote Girl Interrupted. And I watched the movies many times, like with Winona Ryder and Angelina Jolie. So I loved the movie, and I decided to finally read the book. Again, Rory Gilmore, and I loved it. I gave it. Well, I didn't love it. I love more the movie still, but I gave it 3.7 stars, and it was a fun read, and it was like, well, fun and kind of sad. There were lots of good quotes, like sometimes the only way to stay sane is to go a little crazy. I don't know how to talk. Yeah, it's entertaining. I don't know what else to say. I won't go interrupt that. It's about her journey with being diagnosed and all of that. Okay, so then I read one more back to this book. Like, I know I keep showing this one, but it's because it's full of plays. It doesn't only have the picture of Dorian Gray, which I already read. Like, it also has some plays, like 4 plays, if I am not wrong. And I read 2 of them already. But the one I read this, like last month, was The Importance of Being Earnest. Let me see if I can find it fast. Yeah. And I don't know how to explain. This place is play is messy as fuck, but Oscar Wilde, my man, it's so funny. I gave it 5 stars, and I think I like it even more than Romeo and Juliet. I don't know yet, but I did enjoy it a lot. And it's about like there's lots of miscommunication. I don't even know how to explain it, but it's basically about two guys that fake, like they pretend to be other people. Like you have to read it. It's so fast. Like I read it in 2 hours and I really enjoyed it. You can find audiobooks in Spotify or in YouTube, and you can hear it with a cast, and that's freaking amazing. Okay, so I have to physically read books. I cannot just listen to the audiobook, and I even have my little annotations. And here he says, like, he seems to have expressed a desire to be buried in Paris, and I put like not Oscar predicting his place of death, and he's also buried in Paris, I think, or in France, whatever. So yeah, and I have more annotations. It was so so fun. So honestly, you can tell by reading Oscar's plays that he was like a drama king. Like he liked the drama, and I'm here for it. After that one, I read again a classic, The Virgin Suicides by Jeffrey. Yeah, his last name. I don't know. I gave it only 3 stars. It was so boring. I need to say it. Like at times, I was like, I read it so fast, but I was like, really, really, like, and I'm gonna talk more about this book and another book in another video. That are books that made me wanna puke my insides. So yeah, I didn't hate it. Like there were some parts and I was like, okay, this is amazing. But I only read it because I wanted to watch the movie. So now that I read it, I can watch the movie whenever I want. After that, I said like I'm gonna read a long book, and I decided to read The Invisible Life of Harry LaRue, like out of the blue, and I read it. I gave it 5 stars. But I need to say that I think that if I didn't knew about all the hype surrounding the book, I would have enjoyed it more because it is not as good as people say it is. Like I love like the author a lot. I love B. Schwab. I read so many of her books before, but okay. So Addie is an icon, but the book like okay, so every time Henry talked, like it was Henry's point of view, I was like, yeah, I don't care about you. Can we hear more about? Can we hear more about Addie's past? I don't care about Henry. And if you don't know, if you've lived in a hole and you don't know about Addie LaRue, it tells the story of this girl and she. Oh my god, not me mixing pronouns. And so she's from the 1700s, and she prays to the wrong gods that she can, well, basically she is cursed to stay forever like the same age, but people will forget her. Like as soon as she's out of view, you will forget you ever saw her, and she cannot leave a mark in the world. And she's lived for like 300 years when a person for the first time like remembers her. And so that's what what's the book is about. Yeah. And it has like you hear the plot and you're like, oh my god, it's gonna be amazing. But it left me wanting. Like have you heard the quote that says like you've been tested? How does it say? This is the quote that I think that fits the most Addie LaRue. And it says, you have been weighed, you have been measured, and you have been found wanting. Like I kept waiting for the plot twist. I kept waiting for like Addie is an icon. Like she's what I think everyone should be, but it was not enough. Even though I love the writing because I love B. Schwab and I gave it 5 stars because it was a good book, but the hype surrounded it, sometimes hype like damaged the fame of books. I don't know. And after that, I read my last book of the month, the original Girl Boss. I read Macbeth. Lady Macbeth was the original Girl Boss. If you don't know what Macbeth is about, well, just to say that at one point, a witch, yeah, well, three witches tell Macbeth, like, so yeah, you're going to be killed. Like, yeah, you cannot be killed but by any man that's born of women. And later on, he's fighting with a man, and he tells him like, you cannot kill me because I cannot be killed by any man that's born of women. And basically the guy tells him he's a C-section, like that didn't exist, but you get what I'm saying. And he's like, oh no, he's gonna kill me. What do you think happens? Like, Shakespeare was fucking crazy, but I really liked Macbeth. Not more than Romeo and Juliet, I'm sorry, but it was okay. I gave it 4 stars, and it was so funny. Like, I was laughing the whole time. Macbeth is so crazy, and Lady Macbeth, the original girl boss, and Banquo, that man. Okay, so it was really funny. I had like in my review, well, I gave it 4.2 actually. My review it says Lady Macbeth and Macbeth is the ideal gaslight, gatekeep, girl boss, manipulate, mansplain, and male wife. Change my mind, and you cannot change my mind. I'm just saying. So that is all I had to say for today's video. I think this video was so fast. I tried to talk like fast about a lot of these books because there are like 12 books. If I sit down to talk about each one of them in detail, I will take forever. And some of them you don't even have to talk about them. But yeah, that's all I have to say. I hope you give it a read, one of these books, and like it. If you already read them, like, good for you. And yeah, I will leave my Goodreads down below if you want to add me, if you're interested in the books I read. I'm always updating my Goodreads. I am always writing reviews. I'm always updating what book I'm reading, how far I am. Always, always, always. And yeah, now I'm gonna read another book, and I don't know if I should make a blog about it because it's like a famous book that I wanted to read for so long and I was avoiding it. But yeah, I don't know what I'll do. But that's all I have to say for today's video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video, whenever that is, I guess. I hope it's next week because I'm trying to be constant at least once a week, but I am not good at that. I was like 2 weeks without posting anything because I had the video, but I didn't have like the inspiration to edit it, and I want to edit them right, even though I know my editing is mediocre, but I'm trying, okay? I'm trying. Okay, so see ya, whatever.